everyone, welcome to Winter Intercession in COMS 353, Rhetoric and Public Culture. This particular enactment of the class will be focusing on fandom and mediated communication, and I'm really excited because I am a big fan. I'm a fan of many things. As you can tell, I'm a fan of Disney. Yes, we just got back from Disney World and had a fantastic time. Definitely a fan of the Mickey Mouse. I'm also a fan of the University of Oklahoma, where I did my doctoral work. Unfortunately, my husband is a fan of Nebraska. That has caused some issues in our house. Yeah, not insurmountable, not insurmountable. When we had our daughter, we dressed her in half Nebraska, half Oklahoma for the game, and that worked out well. That worked out well. But you see, it's hard to live with a fan of a different team. Those of you who have some family members who like Cleveland, some family members who like Pittsburgh, that's one of the things you don't talk about at the dinner table, including religion and politics, right? Because people are passionate about their fandom. They're passionate about what they really enjoy. And what we're going to be talking about in this class is how those passions come through in terms of our communication with other people and about those things that we love. In this first week of the class, we're going to be talking about identification, Burke's idea of identification. And I've asked you to read a reading from him about how we identify as a fan, how that becomes part of who we are, and that becomes part of how we interact with other people. And I think that's going to serve as a great foundation for what we're going to do on the rest of the course. Speaking of which, let me give you a few highlights about the class, because today is kind of syllabus day, syllabus video, and then talk you through what we're going to be doing the other 4 weeks of the class. First and foremost, your syllabus is your guide map for the class. It is critical that you follow the syllabus and make sure that you know when things are due and what's going on with the class. Unlike a face-to-face class where you get to meet with your professor and you see the professor twice or 3 times a week, on an online class, you need to be really in charge of what you're doing. That is so critical to success in an online class. The syllabus, as with all of the other documents for the class, except for some that I'm going to tell you about in a second, are all located under Content, the Content tab on the left-hand side of your Blackboard. The syllabus is actually located at the very bottom of that list. Go get your syllabus, read your syllabus, and make sure that you're up to date on it. All of the other readings that I've uploaded for the class are also available under Content, with the exception of anything that can be accessed online through the OU Library. Journal articles, for example. All of those things are available through the OU Library, so it would have been silly to upload them and make them available on Blackboard when you can easily just go to the OU Library and get them there. So all of the documents, either under Content, are available through the OU Library, the online library sources. Another critical place you need to look at on the Blackboard would be the discussion area. So that's located under the discussion tab on the Blackboard on the left-hand side. All of the discussion threads for our entire class are located, already uploaded on the discussion tab. You are going to be asked to do a discussion post every week, always by Sunday, always by midnight. Now, yes, looking ahead, Christmas is on a Sunday. Who wants to work on Christmas, right? So for the weeks like that, you can always work ahead. If some of you are going out of town, and I've heard some people say they're going on mission trips or other things like that, that's absolutely fine. You can take this class at a self-paced level if you want to, but all work must be submitted either on time or in advance, but never late. So if you know that you're going to be going out of town, or you know that you're not going to want to work on a holiday, I suggest that you just look at your syllabus and plan accordingly and upload things in advance, and you'll be perfectly fine. You can work at your own pace. All right, but again, look at the syllabus, plan your life accordingly in terms of what you have to do in advance and things like that. All right, well, let me highlight some of the topics that we're going to be talking about in the class. This week we're going to be talking about identification, how we identify as a fan, how we communicate as a fan and position ourselves rhetorically as a fan. And I've asked you to do something as a fan. Now, the cool thing about being a fan is you can be a fan of any number of different things. I'm a fan of a sports team, actually multiple sports teams. You know, I'm a fan of the Oklahoma Sooners, but I'm also a big fan of the Ohio University, the other OU, the Ohio University volleyball team, for example. I go to almost every game of the OU volleyball team. So we can be a fan of multiple teams. We can be a fan of a cartoon. We can be a fan of a comic book. We can even be a fan of a celebrity. I just taught a class during fall quarter, and there were a lot of people who were Kardashian fans. That's absolutely fine. What I'm asking you to do for this week is do something as a fan. Watch a show, watch a movie, stalk a celebrity, whatever you want to do. But you do something as a fan and then apply the readings to it, and then that will be your post that you upload. For details, look at the syllabus. Looking ahead, during the week of December 5th, we're going to be talking about media convergence theory. You know, with so many different technological abilities now, as we enact our fandom, we can not just, for example, watch a soap opera, we can talk about it online with other people, and the media converges, and we're going to be exploring that particular theory and how it's relevant for fandom. During the week of December the 12th, we're going to talk about participatory culture. Fans are doing so many different things now, creating blogs. I have one of my husband's friends created a blog dedicated, sadly, to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I wouldn't have chosen the topic, but he's embracing his fandom by writing about it and doing all kinds of research. As a soap opera fan, I like to watch soap operas and read about them in Soap Opera Digest, but there are people who have constructed online newspapers and journals and things like that about soap operas that have been off the air for over a decade. Those are some zealous fans. And those are people who are truly participating in the continuation and the enactment of the object of their particular fandom. During the week of December 19th, we're going to be talking about collective memory and nostalgia. And for that one, I'd ask you to watch your favorite holiday movie and think about how that has been a shared time for you and your loved ones. Now, if you don't have a family, if you don't have a holiday that you observe, you just pick a favorite movie and think about how that has been something that you have shared with others and that has been really special for you. Certainly, those who have been involved with Star Wars could certainly do that kind of thing. But, you know, keep it with the spirit of the season. If you want to do a holiday movie, that would be fantastic too. And then I'd ask you to write about that. So hopefully we'll be able to tie in some of the holiday stuff and not just totally separate ourselves from this class. During our last week of the class, December 26th, we're going to be talking about public culture and power and how there is an economic factor to our enactment of fandom that both constrains how we can be fans in terms of the availability of the object of our fandom, as well as the influence of money and economics and power on how our different objects of our fandom get constructed. You know, how money and power factor into any number of things. And we can talk about the product placement in different shows. We could talk about, even sadly enough, the recent scandals at Penn State, and some people alleging that certainly the money, power, and prestige of the football program really contributed to an aura of silence about the events that occurred at Penn State. There are all kinds of different issues that we can talk about there in terms of public culture and power, and we'll get to those during the last week of class as we start to kind of take a more meta level and critical level in terms of fandom. That's an overview of the class. I think we're going to have a fantastic time. Again, consult your syllabus. And finally, in closing, I want to urge you, if you have a question about any assignment, a question about any reading, a question about anything, email me. Because you are as scattered as Maryland to California. And that's the truth. I've got a student in Maryland, I've got a student in California, and all across the United States. I can't psychically know that you have a question. It's really important. If you have any questions or any concerns, email me. I promise to be online at least once a day during our entire class, except for some weekend days. So please plan accordingly and send me emails Monday through Friday. I'll do my best to get online over the weekend, but I can't promise you every weekend day I'll be able to get online. So email me, I'll get to you as quickly as possible, and have fun with this class. This class, the topic matter, I find very, very interesting, and I hope that you do as well. I hope that you have a fantastic time with our class, and I look forward to having a great winter intercession with you. See you soon.